Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest and most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and on occasion make fun of them. Today, gonna go over a story titled, My Wife, a 44-year-old female, Cheated. I filed for divorce when I found out she tried to off herself New Year's Eve. And guys, this story is about a guy. He was married to his wife for 20 years, thought everything was great, they have a whole bunch of kids together, and lo and behold, he finds out she was cheating. That was a deal breaker for him, no going back there. And so, understandably, he said he was going to divorce her. And then on New Year's Eve, she tried to off herself. And now, as you're going to see in this story, that she's getting all the pity, and he actually is being made out to be the bad guy because he won't take her back. Isn't that amazing? She had the affair on him. He was a good husband to her. Excuse me, guys. And now he's the bad guy. And the friends and family are pressuring him to marriage counseling, therapy, and everything when he knows that's it. I can't trust her again. So I'm going to go through this story, guys. You're going to see more what I'm talking about, because it's amazing how that dynamic works. You know, the person that is actually the bad guy in a situation becomes the good guy, right? Oh, and by the way, apparently while I was away over the weekend, my evil twin hijacked this channel and did a few videos in the house. Well, I'll let you know that I kicked his ass, and you won't be seeing him anytime soon. So, but hey, you know what? You got to have a sense of humor about these things, guys. In business, you got to try things out, and they don't work. Hey, you go back to square one. So, back in the car. Thanks for staying with me. So, the article or the story starts. Right. Where to begin? The soon-to-be ex-wife and I were together for over 25 years, 22 of those married. Prior to this, there were no infidelities or large problems. Well, to your knowledge. We have 4 children, a pair of twins, boy and girl, 20 years old, and a son that's 19, and our youngest daughter is 15. That's a lot of kids, man. I filed for divorce in mid-December and had her move out of our home and back with her parents. I got a lot of voicemail left and emails and even handwritten letters about how sorry she is about what she's done, but I never replied in any way. When I finally dawned on her I was really going through this and there was nothing she could do about it, she attempted ending her life. In all likelihood, she would have died had her parents not stayed at home to keep an eye on her. From what I've been told, she tried to overdose on pills, but no one knows where she got them in the first place. You know, it's been my experience, and don't try to dig into my experience here, but this is something I know about from personal experience, that people that often want to end things, if they truly do, they'll do it. But otherwise, enough is done to obviously get a lot of attention and a big cry for help, but they obviously end up living, usually when it comes to pills. Like I said, this is something I unfortunately know about. There's the sirens again. For those of you who missed the sirens when my evil twin did the video over the weekend, or videos, there you go. He says, her infidelity apparently became fully physical only recently in late November or early December. But even before that, she was emotionally cheating for at least a few months before that. I don't care to find out how long, since they really want to help me in any way. Since it was a married man with whom she had the affair, I notified his wife, so he's getting a divorce too. Hey, that's warranted. He has every right to contact the guy that was banging his wife's wife. And she has every right to kick his ass to the curb. Goes both ways. Add to that, they're co-workers, which is how they met in the first place. And I assume they used to work time. They used work time to start the affair. For those that are going to ask, how did you find out? The answer is, I didn't. Our son and daughter, the twins, did. They saw their mother kissing with the other man in public. The place in question is somewhere where any of them usually pass through, and then they proceed to inform me. Can you imagine that? Your kids see this, and they obviously love and they're loyal to their dad. They told their dad. A lot of kids probably wouldn't know what to do with that. I mean, but imagine for the kids seeing this. That sucks. I started digging around and found more than evidence of a prolonged affair. I don't have many deal breakers, and believe me I don't have many deal breakers, and believe that marriage is something that's a continuous work in progress. You have to do your part to keep it alive and well, but cheating is something that I absolutely will not overlook, or forgive. To cheat is to take a crap on all the time you spent together, to take a dump on your shared lives. I agree with that. At the end of the day, if you're at the point you're going to cheat, just end the relationship. Seriously, it's not cool to the other person involved, especially if you have kids, because you're not just cheating on your partner, you're also cheating on the kids in the family. That's what I think. It says it's nothing more than a selfish and cruel act. I'm just telling you so you can understand me a bit better. Maybe, but that's a really, really reaching maybe, I could have tried to look past this if it had been a one-time thing and she immediately came to me concrete and remorseful. But she wasn't. I mean, she only started sobbing and bawling once she got caught, and that to me is utterly worthless. In all the stories I do, both in this channel and especially in my other one, whenever the woman's caught cheating, it's always the waterworks, I'm so sorry, you're the one I really want. I mean, all these things just like that. So it's like, why'd you just cheat? Why'd you even bother cheating? Why don't you talk to me? Why don't you try to work things out? Tell me what's bothering you. Tell me what's missing. Unbelievable. And the gals can turn on the waterworks like that. He says here, it's easy to cry once your shit is put into the spotlight. But before all this, I never noticed anything remorseful about her or any sign of guilt. Well, there you go. Because she realizes her meal ticket's about to be extinguished. I just can't live with someone like that. Thankfully, all the kids were supporting and understanding when I told them I was going to divorce their mother. Our youngest cried more than I did, but said I was doing the right thing for all of us. She did ask me if she could live with me. The other three already had places of their own. And I told her she didn't even have to ask. Wow, that's some serious loyalty to the dad, because a lot of times these stories, the loyalty goes to the mom, or the kids are angry at the dad saying, why are you leaving her? So that's good. But the older kids, I mean, they're obviously old enough to kind of get this. He says, I think that's the best thing in this situation overall, just having the kids. They're showing me not all those years being with my wife were a waste. Whatever she's like now, I can at least be grateful for our children, if nothing else. I love them more than anything. Yeah, okay, you got these great kids out of the marriage, so look at that silver lining there. And again, they're awesome that they actually are supporting you, and the kids that saw it, unfortunately they saw it, came to you and told you what happened. He says, unfortunately, nearly everyone we know, barring the friends who were my friends before they became the families, are trying to get me to stop the divorce and talk to her, go into counseling or some other nonsense, more so after the suicide attempt. So she does the suicide attempt, and then everybody's feeling really bad for her. I mean, okay, they obviously love her and don't want anything to happen to her, but she's the one that caused this in the first place. And he's not going to be able to trust her again if they tried a second time. I mean, there's just some things that are deal breakers, and in my opinion, that's a serious one, and it is for this guy as well. Needless to say, all those people are on my shit list, and I've cut all forms of communication with them. Good. Sadly, that includes the in-laws, whom I really loved before all this happened, since I'm an orphan myself and saw them as the family I never had. They tried getting to me through the grandkids, which has soured them on visiting their grandparents in the near future. The kids tell me they love them, but they just can't be around them at this time because they're being so overbearing. Yeah, because they realize, hey, we don't want our daughter living with us, and we want to work it out because she's hurt and she obviously ended herself, and they're more obviously thinking about her than the whole bigger picture, because they obviously don't want her to do that again. But I have to question whether she did that as a last-ditch effort to get attention and pity and all that. Believe me, people have done far worse. He says they also chosen to distance themselves from their mother, though they're still in touch, obviously. This is the kids. I'm in therapy myself, going through some counseling because of all that happened, and I feel nothing. When I look back at finding out about all this, I see the lack of rage and hurt is very worrying. My therapist says I've numbed myself on purpose to help me get through this easier. I don't know. Before all this, if anyone asked me how I felt about my marriage and wife, I'd probably tell them I was as happy as I could be with a big smile on my face. Well, that sounds like middle-aged marriage to me, at best. And yeah, being numb after all this, that's normal. He's going to be numb for a long time. He goes on, now, nothing. When I heard about the ending her life attempt, you might as well told me what the weather forecast for the day was. I didn't feel anything. Not for me personally, anyway. I was angry, in a way as to which this could have done to our children, but beyond that, her trying to kill herself just doesn't get a reaction out of me. Yeah, he's done. He's checked out. And yeah, that's another thing I honestly didn't think of. It isn't just her doing that towards him. It's also, how about the kids? People get divorced all the time. Oh, it's unfortunate. It's sad it is that way, but they divorce all the time. They don't end themselves because it happens. You move on. You make your bed, you lie in. She was lying in many a bed with that guy. And you're going to offer yourself. What about the kids? I got to wonder if she was mentally unstable before this. I'm not happy that she's realized how much she's ruined our lives. But I'm not feeling any sort of empathy either. I can't. It's just that I look at the situation and think, yes, and how's that any concern of mine? Yeah, he's done. So why would you want to get back with a guy that's at this point done, who literally was like whatever when he found out that she tried to off herself? I'm not like that, or at least I don't think I was before all of this. And my therapist assures me the numbness will pass. It's part of the healing process, but here we are, more than a month later, and I still feel nothing about what happened. I think that's normal. It'll pass. Could take 6 months, could take a year, could take 2 years, but it will get better over time. I'm honestly not sure if that's good or bad. I just have to wait and see. As to the rest of my life, the friends that stayed true to me aren't letting me spend much time alone. They understand that I need to do some time for myself every now and again, but they don't want me to be alone too. It all seems so different now, you know? Well, that's awesome. This guy has loyal friends that are sticking with him compared to the other friends that are just pressuring him to go to therapy and marriage counseling and work it out, you know? And oftentimes in the marriage counseling and therapy, they're trying to make it that the guy gets back with a woman. And they tend to side with the woman, is what I've heard. Now my main concern here is about our kids. For now, they're keeping away from her, or their own free choice. I didn't poison them against their mother or anything of that sort. They just don't want to talk to her much at all. Well, they're loyal to you, and they're hurt on many levels about what happened. The cheating, and then her trying to end herself. Because I guarantee they're probably thinking, don't you care about us? You're going to just off it because dad left? What about us? I bet you they're probably numb too. Our youngest has been hit the hardest by her mother's infidelity, and I've been thinking maybe having her go see some therapy too if we can't resolve this on our own. This is what really bothers me about the whole thing, that our children reacted so severely to their mother's infidelity. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't glad that they did react negatively to it, because it goes to show that they understand that adultery is no small matter and that it can, like for us, destroy marriages and families. But I'm worried about long term. I think the kids eventually will come out of it. It's all brand new. Will they get over this? Will they eventually form a tangible relationship with their mother? Will they heal? If any of you folks have been through a situation as similar as ours, please share your experiences. Well, I think the kids will definitely over time get over it, but they could have a bad relationship with the mom for a while. But I mean, again, it's two things. There's the infidelity, feeling betrayed about that, her betraying the family and all of them. And then afterwards, when things got so bad, she went to off herself, okay? And I guarantee you they're probably thinking, don't you care about us? What about us? You know, people get divorced all the time. But yeah, they'll get over it over time. But they got to go through this period, the anger and all that. And I'm sure the emotions will be a roller coaster. But the best thing the mother could do is basically just say to them, hey, I love you. I'm sorry what I did. I'm here for you. And just back away and let the kids come to them. And you might have a couple kids that will get back with her and a couple that might not. You just never know. I mean, I've heard story. I knew a guy once at the gym I trained where he was a good husband all those years, but he and the wife would never hook up because she wasn't interested. And it was a loveless, sexless marriage. And eventually, after him being just so hungry for attention and love, he eventually cheated. Well, she found out, and she turned those kids against him. And years later, they still weren't talking to him. And he tried. And so, yes, he did cheat, but there was no love in that marriage, and he should have ended her, he admitted. But anyhow, he moved on, and the kids weren't talking to him. So that could happen. I don't know what happened to that guy. I haven't seen him in years, but the point is it all depends on the kids. And, you know, but it sounds like this guy isn't trying to turn them against her. So, but anyhow, this guy did the right thing. He had every right to do that. And you know what? For the so-called friends and family that are giving him a hard time because he didn't go back to her, screw them. You don't need them. It's only going to make things worse. But anyhow, guys, let me go into cover here and show you how a guy can do everything right, he gets cheated on, and someone does something like that, tries to off themselves, and all of a sudden now he's the bad guy because he won't get back with her. It's crazy. So, but anyhow, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below, let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.